last night?
Okay, one of the young ladies that was over my house when that incident occurred, she had to go to court, and me and my 8-year-old son testified as to what happened. The police officers that was in the courtroom lied so bad about what happened. I mean, they lied so bad. So, court was over, she lost. We thinking we just got more court dates, that was it. But last night...
Well, back up a little bit. You had previously said the judge had made some statements.
Yes.
What did the judge say?
The judge let us know in her little closing statement before she said guilty or innocent that she is for the prosecutor, she is for law enforcement. So we basically knew we couldn't win because she let us know basically what we saying didn't matter. She had already had her mind made up before we walked in the courtroom. And then to top it off, to see her go to lunch with the prosecutor, I mean, we knew from that point on that we lost. We knew it.
And was there were some questions regarding your TV appearance?
Yes, they asked were we paid to do the show, and did the show contact us? Did we contact the show? How did we know you? I mean...
Who asked you that?
The prosecutor.
April 2nd, 2005, the producer, social critic, and people's advocate was jailed on trumped-up charges that were dismissed days later. Once jailed, he was assaulted by an all-white deputy unit, beaten in the head, chest, and groin, maced in the face and body, including the rectum, genitals, and injected with an unknown chemical believed to induce a psychotic episode. Here's an eyewitness to part of that beating.
That's how I got your number.
Yep. They beat that man bad. He was saying something out of his cell, and then they opened up his cell. A bunch of them went in. They started kicking him. He fell out of the cell. He was laying in the pod area, like it's a circle, like go around the main where the sheriffs be at. They were stomping him, macing him, punching him. He was bleeding out the side of his face, and they just kept on stomping him. Kept on. Then handcuffed him. They beat him up real bad.
Do you remember what was it in the morning? Or rough idea?
It was around, I'd say, about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Because he was bailed out. All he was waiting on was to get out.
This was on Saturday, correct?
Yeah.
He was bailed out on Friday.
He had already been bailed out. He was just waiting to leave. He was still there Saturday morning.
I know.
Sitting down in the holding area.
Bail was paid at 2 o'clock Friday.
What?
Bail was paid at 2 o'clock
He wanted to know how come he wasn't out yet.
Okay.
It was about 8 of them. They beat that man like he had slapped one of them. Like he tried to jump him.
Well, that's what they claim he did.
He didn't do shit.
The documents I have say he jumped him.
Oh my God. When they opened up that cell door, they went in kicking his ass. Me and one guy was in this cell right here. He was in this cell right here. We could see everything.
Okay.
When they opened up that door, they went in swinging.
Okay.
He fell out when I went. Even if he did jump on one of them, when he landed on the floor, why is it taking 8 to stomp him and punch him and spray him with mace? He already on the floor. That's bullshit. They lying. There wasn't one black officer there either. Not one.
That's what he told me.
And they was bragging about it, laughing about it. Then they put him back in the cell, made him stand there another hour and a half, 2 hours before they even took him to the hospital. They lying. They know they lying.
It was about 4 o'clock. According to the documents I have, it was around 4 o'clock when they took him to the hospital.
About 4:30. But hell, that's still an hour and a half, 2 hours later. And this man bleeding, he bleeding. They cleaned his cell before they took him to the hospital.
Who cleaned the cell?
They had some Trustees come in and clean it and bleach it and spray it down with disinfectant and everything.
Where was he at that time?
They had moved him to another cell. Then they put him back in that cell.
Okay.
Then they came and got him, took him to the hospital in shackles.
Okay.
Because when he walked by me, he looked up at me and the guy that was in there and winked at me. Like, yeah, y'all know what happened. He asked me, he's like, what was y'all trying to do? Spray me in my ass with mace? Why y'all have to do this to me like this? But as far as him fighting back, wasn't no fight, man. They stomped that dude. They stomped him. Kicked him, punched him, stomped him, maced him. You name it, they did it. Well, they did everything but kill him.
When he called me, he told me they tried to kill him.
You think they was the way they was beating on him? If that would have been 8 black officers on 1 white man, them 8 officers would be under investigation right now, if not fired. They beat the dog shit out of that man. And it was a captain or something in there because he had them little gold bars on his shirt. I'm surprised he was able to walk, period.
No, they've beat, you don't know that they've beat him several more times since you saw him.
Well, I just know about that one time that I seen.
Okay.
And if they did it anywhere near like they did it the first time, shit, they trying to kill him. Nobody can't take them kind of
Did they say
beatings over and
anything
over.
while they were beating him?
No, they was laughing. Laughing, just stomping the shit out of him.
Were
Like
there other people besides you that could see this?
yeah.
He wrote a book entitled For God and Country, Faith and Patriotism Under Fire, in which I chronicled my experiences, to include that in Guantanamo. And one of the chapters that I wrote, I entitled it, Gitmo's Secret Weapon. And what was Gitmo's secret weapon? Well, from the vantage point of a chaplain, a military chaplain, whose role is to advocate for the free exercise of worship for all individuals, Gitmo's secret weapon was the use of religion against the prisoners in the process of trying to glean information from them or in the process of detaining them. How was that done? Well, prisoners, they would tell me, for example, that when they were taken to interrogation, shackled at the wrist, at the waist, and at the ankles, as prisoners in Guantanamo are shackled, they would tell me that they were sometimes forced to, let's say, sit shackled in the center of what was painted on the floor, a satanic circle. And the interrogators would attempt to make them bow down and prostrate, make sujood, make ruku' in the form of the Islamic prayers Muslims pray, in the center of the circle, while the interrogator is screaming at the individual that Satan is your God now, not Allah. This is how religion was being used against the prisoners. The female interrogators, which has been reported in official U.S. military investigations. And you can find these online, like in the U.S. Southern Command Schmidt report, that female interrogators took advantage of Islamic etiquette, Islamic culture, where we have, within our community, limited physical contact between males and females, in which they did inappropriately sometimes touch the male Muslim prisoners. And it's been confirmed also that female interrogators even grabbed the genitals of Muslim male prisoners in the course of their interrogations. I can talk about how some of the prisoners, when they went to interrogation, didn't want to see and look at the female interrogators who took off their clothes sometimes to try and frustrate them. So they simply closed their eyes. But instead the guards would be ordered to go behind the prisoner and force their eyes open. I can talk about how sometimes prisoners just went to interrogation and wanted to recite the Quran, and how it's also been reported in some of these FBI memos that have been released under Freedom of Information Act lawsuits, that these interrogators, when they saw the Muslim prisoners reading the Quran, they simply wrapped their head in tape so they couldn't recite the Holy Quran. How else was religion being used against the prisoners? Because I knew firsthand from being down in Guantanamo as the Muslim chaplain that the Quran was being desecrated when I was there.